So, I thank you very much for giving a consent to. Yeah, is it audible? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
Everything is ready. Yeah.
Sir, our coordinator has also sent the email ID to which you have to send the presentation, sir. This is the Shalini C, the email ID in the G Meet box chat. You can send the presentation in the mail ID, sir.
I found. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, I've sent.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall we proceed, sir?
Yeah, we can start.
Sir,
Yeah.
shall we start, sir?
Vaishnavi? Yeah. Yes, Abhinesh.
Yes, sir. We are waiting for the slide to be shared, sir. That's why. Okay, sir. We'll start. Okay. Good evening to one and all present here. I, Abhinash, on behalf of first year MHRM DG Vaishnav College, welcome you all for today's webinar on the topic organizational development. Let us welcome a speaker for the day, Mr. M. Kailasagiri, Assistant General Manager HR, Cube Investments of India Limited, Murugappa Group. Mr. M. Kailasagiri has completed MBA from Anna University with over 15 years of HR and IR experience. He previously worked with BGR Energy Systems as HR. His areas of expertise are organizational culture development, organizational structure optimization, recruitment and talent management, talent retention, performance management, employee relations, industrial relations, handling union executive LTS and VRS, employee engagement, safety, health and environmental trainings, executive HR strategy, plan for greenfield projects. Mr. M. Kailasagiri has done numerous certifications such as Management Business Acumen Program at IIM. He was trained by Deloitte on workforce planning and competency mapping. He has also been trained in Hayes model for job description writing. He has been certified as an internal auditor for QMS system. He is trained on MBTI and DISC profile interpretation and also trained in ERP HR module. Mr. M. Kailasagiri has achieved various awards and acknowledgements, such as Strong Commendation HR Excellence Award for TIDC from CII in the year 2012. He has received the Best HR Support and Change Award from Murugappa Group in the year 2014 and 2016 and has received Functional HR Excellence Award from TII in 2014. He has also received MD's Award for VRS implementation in the year 2015. He was awarded by the chairman of BGR Energy Systems for special contribution for IPO in the year 2018. We welcome you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce our head of the Department of Human Resource Management, DG Vaishnav College, Dr. N.C. Martin. He is an highly experienced academician and has about 20 years of academic and administrative experience as professor, HOD, dean, and registrar. He did his postgraduate in labor management and PhD in labor laws from Tamil Nadu Institute of Labor Studies. He started his career as a lecturer from the same institutions. He held various positions in the arts and science colleges, engineering and media college. In Sri Chandra Prabhu Jain College as assistant professor and HOD of MSW department, in Sam's College of Engineering and Technology as a professor and HOD of MBA department. He was also the placement officer for the entire division of Sam's College of Engineering and Technology. During his tenure, he successfully placed engineering and management graduates in top-notch companies of manufacturing and service sectors across the country. He has continued his career in St. Joseph College of Arts and Science as Dean of Academics and in L.V. Prasad Film School, one of the best film schools in Asia, working as a registrar. He acted as a jury representing the Employees Federation of Southern India for the selection of companies for the best practices for the year 2018 to 2019. He has added a number of research papers and publications to his credit, and he is an expert in the subject of labor legislations and industrial relations. He has given centum results in various HR specialized subjects in the university examinations. We welcome you, sir. This meeting will be recorded for educational purposes. In case of any doubts or the questions, the participants can unmute themselves and type the questions in the chat box. And the feedback link for the webinar will be posted in the chat box at the end of the meeting. Now, I request Dr. N.C. Martin to speak a few words about the topic of the day. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Avnish, for the introduction. First of all, I like to welcome all the participants on behalf of our management secretary Ashok Kumar Mundra and our beloved principal Dr. Santosh Babu. And I am very happy to invite our resource person Kailasagiri, Assistant General Manager, Tube Investment of India Limited, Murugappa Group of Companies. I am very happy to announce that. So this webinar, the topic on organization development, it is the 36th series of webinar where we started. So the topic, the organizational development. So going to a conceptual understanding, it is the study of successful organization change and performance. So it is a practice which involves an ongoing systematic process of implementing effective organization change. So the concept OD, so it emerged from human relation studies in the year 1930. So during which the psychologists realized that organizational structures, processes, so it influences the employees' behavior and also their motivation. More recently, the work on organization development has expanded to focus on aligning the organization, so with their rapidly changing and complex environments through organization learning, knowledge management, and transformation of organizational norms and values. So the OD is both a field of applied science, focusing on understanding and managing organizational change, and we can say it is a field of scientific study and inquiry. It is interdisciplinary in nature and draws knowledge on the area of sociology, psychology, particularly the industrial and organization psychology, and various theories of motivation, learning, etc. So Kurt Lewin, so he is the founding fathers of organizational development. Though he died before the concept became very popular in the mid of 1950s, he played a very crucial role in evolution of OD as it is being known today. So the objectives of organization development are framed keeping in view specific situations. So they vary from one situation to another. In other words, we can say that so these programs are tailored to meet the requirements of a particular situation. Broadly speaking, all organization development programs so try to achieve objectives like so making employees in the organization to be aware of the vision of the organization. So generally, the organization development helps in employing, that is, making employees to align with the vision of the organization. It also strengthens interpersonal trust, cooperation, communication for the successful achievement of the organization goals. And also, the organization development encouraging the employees to solve problems and instead of making them to avoid that. It also encourages every individual to participate in the process of planning so that they feel for the implementation of the plan. And also creates an environment to trust so that the employees willingly accept the change. So on the whole, we can say that the organization development provides the managers and supervisors with the vehicle of introducing the changes systematically and also continuously applying a wide range of management techniques in order to attain a greater personal growth and organizational effectiveness. So with this, I conclude and leave the sessions to our resource person to throw much light and input and share his expertise on the wonderful topic on the area of organizational development. All the best.
Thanks, sir. Thanks. Hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yeah. So
You can go
actually, Mr. Martin has already covered the half of my work, and he was spoke about the entire evolution of OD. See, my name is as introduced. People call me Kailash, and I'm AGM here in Tube Investments of India. It was always it gives me great pleasure interacting with students, and whatever practically we do here, whatever you learn in terms of subjects and what we actually do here is maybe entirely different. And I would like to give you some practical experiences, OD, how it is been handled in many companies and our company as well. And to the students, I see majority of them are students here today who are attending the class. So the benefit of you, you cannot forget 2 papers in maybe 3 papers. I would rather say, if you are aspiring for an HR job, and if you want to build your career in HR, you cannot forget 3 papers. Of course, all papers are important, whatever you study, but you cannot forget OB, which is organization behavior, which talks about the entire psychology and how from what is OB and what is learning and what is motivation, what is change, what is OD, little bit everything. And you have your OD as a paper, I think, in the last semester, and you also have your legal papers, it's kept. So these 3 papers, I strongly believe is the most important papers, and the today's topic also will be much interesting. And OD, it gives further importance in the last sem, because it's kept always this paper has been kept in the last semester. We tend to miss, we have internships and other things, and we sometimes miss. But once you start practicing HR and you join a company, and you will soon learn, after you get the fundamental learning of recruitment, PMS, training, coordination, whatever, the next level of your movement will be OD, okay, which is a vast subject. And as your professor rightly said, it evolved over a period of time, and which will also cover in the presentation. And maybe someone can present that slide which I have sent, so that we will start.
Yes, sir. Like they're presenting, sir.
Yeah. So nice. Let's come. Good. So go back. Go to the next slide. Maybe control can be given, I think, right? Okay. See, we will go with definition. Maybe any subject, it should be defined first. What is that? And likewise, organizational development is it's a long-term effort to solve an organization's problem, and to improve the organizational capabilities to cope up with change. Right? Your professor said, to cope up with change management is the main role of the organization development. We would have studied what is this development, what HR guys will develop in an organization, what is this development. All these things you will come in subsequent slide. First, to understand the definition, there is a process and there is a system, and how you intervene that process and system to develop. Okay, in OD, there are many pillars, but to cover, in third slide, I would have put only 3 pillars, and how we will go about each pillar, and what will be the HR's role, and what will be the business role, and what will be the process role in it, in terms of developing an organization and coping up with the change management. So that's it. That's the organizational development for you. It is a effort. Maybe to put it very simple, it is an effort by an individual to improve organizational, from one level to the another level, or take from one level to the another level, or is the main essence of this organizational development. Go to the next slide. And how do you do? Definitely you to intervene. You have to do some interventions through a structured activities, and the activities cannot be one-time activities, or it cannot be a this thing. That activity should be a structured. It should have milestones, and it should have an effectiveness monitoring system, so that what intervention we do for an organizational development, how it is being practiced, and how it is going to benefit the organization. Those parameters has to be clearly identified and articulated beginning of the any intervention we do, and that's how we should start practicing a OD intervention in any organization. So that is OD and OD intervention for you. And how do you can intervene? See, what your subject is, whenever you do a research, what you do first, you should diagnose a problem. If there is an organization, you should either diagnose a problem, or you see what is required for that organization, where that organization is lacking, what is that you need to impart or to intervene where, so that you do some work and the effectiveness goes up in terms of what is required for the achieving the long-term goals of the company. So that process you should be very clearly having in mind, which will help the organization to move up the ladders or reach the long-term plans or long-term goals, whatever it is. So you should know what is, where it is required, how it is required. So designing that is an art by itself. We will go through one by one how OD can be looked at in 3 different angles, and how we can intervene and what we can do as an HR professional. So I see you can ask me, sir, OD, if I am aspiring to be an OD professional, what I should learn and what I should know, what I should practice in an organization. All those questions, I think I will answer in this presentation, and also have an 15 to 20 minutes question and answer session where you can ask your doubts, and if best of my knowledge, I can also answer you back on that. Move to the next slide. So I'm keeping OD as 3 pillars here. OD for business, which is for business growth, OD for process improvement, and OD for HR. So this is how the literature has given many pillars, many different pillars, but I thought practically an organization will follow these 3 pillars. And strategy for business growth, you all know there can be growth, can be 2 types. I will explain that in my subsequent slide. And process, what is that you can do in a manufacturing? What is, whether it is a manufacturing or an IT or approach, what is that you can, as an HR person or an HR professional, you can intervene in the business, how you can facilitate this process of process OD, and how you can improve the process in terms of delivering the quality and required parameters of a product, and how you can help your employees to deliver a better product to the community, or for sales. That is what process OD means, which I will also explain these tools available for improving that as well. Yes, no, I will not be explaining in detail about this each TQM TPS. It requires at least a month for explaining all the TPM or TQM pillars. But still, I will explain you the concepts. I will make you understand what is that, and how you can approach these tools in future. So that part I will handle. And finally, the more specific to our subject, it is OD. What is for HR in OD? What is that we do for intervention, human intervention? What human interventions we should do for improving the OD in terms of the various HR interventions we do for OD. So those also I will explain in detail. This is my approach for today's session, and we will move on. So as I said, move on to the next slide. Strategy for business growth. Yes, you all know. It can be either organic or inorganic. Needless to explain, being postgraduate students, you know what is an organic and inorganic growth. If you are able to grow the existing business, if you are able to expand the sales within buying something out or buying something fresh, or or doing some acquisitions, you are able to build your own capacities and improve the production and thereby improve the sales, means the organic growth. Inorganic growth is very simple. You acquire business, you buy companies, and you multiply the turnover. So that's how the strategies of business growth comes into in terms of developing the business, organic and inorganic, in terms of natural development, and in terms of mergers and acquisition. So this is what business growth as OD. Move on to the next slide. See, this is what I would like to explain you in detail. Maybe I will take one topic and I will explain so that you will understand each and every thing. Now, you saw the business organization development as a strategy. Now, what is process OD? Any manufacturing or any process industry or any service industry, you have a process flow. And these tools, either it can be TQM, total quality management, it can be Six Sigma, or it can be Toyota production system, or it can be total employee involvement, and it can be total productive maintenance. Any tool, these tools will help you to assess the assess the current parameter of the business, current parameters of the process flow in your system, and help where the variances are, where the deviations are there, how to improve. How you can sustain the production system, how you can improve the quality day by day so that your customer satisfaction increases. So what you can do as an HR guy, first you should see what is the requirement for your shop floor, or what is this requirement for your organization where you join. And if, for example, if it is a manufacturing company, and if you see large employee workforce is working, so you should make them first understand the entire production process, which we will see subsequently in subsequent slides, and we should make them involved. Without employee involvement, any process cannot be bettered, or any maybe any development cannot be brought in. So how you involve them, how you involve an employee in the OD, that process should be clearly articulated. For example, if you take this piece, total employee involvement, you go to the shop floor, and you know all employees involved in the process, all employee involved in the improvement, no one will improve, no one will involved in the improvement. No, you should have a structured methodology to make them involved in the organizational development process. For example, you are working in a company, you are HR head of you are a manager HR of people where 1,000 people are working in a process. So how you should go about is, if you have a TI as a pillar, you go, you call your employees, first you should make them involved in a 5S process. First ensure you follow 5S in your shop floor. Then you involve them in the improvement process. The improvement process can be to keep it very simple. You can if you take TI, you can keep it as a Kaizen. You can have a small group activities, which we call it as SGAs, and you can have a Kaizen systems. So these things where, if, for example, if you take a Kaizen, if a person is working in a mission, he will give a session to improve the process of that mission from a level to another level. So you should encourage them to give him a session. So an employee will not give a session just like that. No, any employee or any human being will first think, what is in for me? So you should also factor your rewards and recognition system. For example, an employee is giving is ensuring a mission. For example, a mission is producing a component with under 10 ppm. Meaning that if the mission is producing a million parts in a month, if it will produce 10 products with defect. If an employee is eliminating the defect and he is coming up with a session, so he is improving the process. So what is that you will pay him back? What is that you will give him back? Those interventions and those structured approach to make an employee involved will definitely help to improve your processes. And if you take TQM, it 100% it ensures the total quality of the product. So what is that TQM and all, you should look of bringing some consultants. Maybe there are many Japanese consultants available to drive this process. So you should bring those consultants and help make the use of them, because being an HR, you cannot be a subject matter expert of in this thing. If you are, yes, fine. But if you are not able to bring those engineering techniques and concepts of TQM, Six Sigma, you should bring in a consultant where you can take this as a structured approach towards teaching your employees how to improve the process from one level to another level. So it will help the process, it will help the manufacturing company, any company, it will help the company, So it will help the company to grow. If your process line, if your production system is able to produce something without any defect, what else you want? No, if you are confident what you are selling to the customer, which is error free, what else organization requires to go to the next level? So this process OD will help an organization to keep the fundamentals correct. Okay, before develop for the top line growth, or if the company is aspiring to growth 4x or 5x, living that, first your fundamental basic should be very clear and focused. So these tools, if the company is practicing, the company, the process will be disciplined. The products which is being produced out of the line will be error free, so that the system allows the lot of time. For example, if you don't have a proper quality management system, what will happen? You will spend lot of time in handling the quality related issues. For example, you are supplying maybe a safety critical item for some car, a safety critical item for a bike, and if that goes and fails outside, and the huge debit will come back. You would have heard about many nowadays it's become a fashion statement that Toyota has called back these many cars to repair, or some other company has called back this many cars for doing this thing. So those quality defects can be avoided if you follow this fundamental process OD very clearly, so that your management will have a lot of time to focus on future expansions and future business growth. And as a system, you will also be your demand will in the market will not be lost for producing the defected items. So as an HR, you should be for students, what I can say here in this slide, you should be very thorough about you may not be the engineering graduates, but you should be thorough about at least two basic process OD techniques. Either it can be TQM, either it can be TPS or TPM. See, only the names will differ, or what they teach is fundamentally will be the same. Okay, so you should be very clear and thorough on one or two techniques of this process OD, which will help your employees to learn something about what they are doing, which will help you to be very clear focus on employees, to make them understand that what they are doing the job in a best way, so that they give the best products to the sales. So this is how a process OD will help organization in achieving its this thing, right? So whether it is simple to establish, yes, initially it will be simple, but when the demand this thing, for example, if you have a mission or you have a process which takes 6 hours for manufacturing a piece of product, and if you follow some of this TPM where the there are techniques like value stream mapping, what is the value addition activities, what is the non-value addition activities, those things will be studied. And if you're able to review, and if you're able to save time, and if you're able to produce more in the given time, where you will also help the organization in saving the additional investment. For example, if you have 5 presses or 5 machines which is producing 100 components, for the next year where the demand is high, when you have to increase the sale for 150 products, if you are able to study the existing process, improve the productivity of the existing process without new investments, that gives the organization more a scope for improving its PBT, PAT, whatever it is. No, it gives more scope for improving without any investment. So that is how you should look at this process OD. You should not think that I am an HR person. We will deal. What is that HR you should do? What is in HR? You should do for OD interventions. Yes, definitely, I will take you in detail. But you should also keep in mind process OD is also under you. Yes, there will be even though you are a manager of HR, there will be a process head or a plant head who will technically take care of this entire process OD or entire process OD. Still, as a person of HR, you should be well aware of the techniques so that you will handle it better, you will facilitate it better, and you will also encourage it in the shop floor, make your employees participate. And tomorrow, see, once you practice HR, you will be the person responsible for any change management. If your company is trying to implement some process OD and they are going to bring in, definitely there will be resistance to change, and you will be a change agent for bringing this, making them explain what it is, how it is good for him, how it is good for the company, and what he will get out of this as an individual. Those things you should be very clear and articulative and communicative to the employees so that the process OD can be achieved. Okay. And now we have saw what is strategic OD for an organization, how to develop growth. Now we saw process OD, what are the tools available to process OD, how it becomes important as a students you to learn the process OD techniques and how to implement in the shop floor and how it benefits the organization we have seen. Now we will move on to the HR part. So go to the next slide. See, HR OD is many. I have only taken these things: performance management, training and development, and HR OD interventions as a subject. Separate subject I will take you through. So in HR OD, first of all, I would like to give some clarity. Maybe a year back, I was attending one seminar where one person was talking about what is OD, and he was saying employee engagement initiatives as a OD parameter. Yes, it is, but he was also sharing like small engagement fun at workplaces as OD interventions, like celebrating birthday lunches, taking them for outing, taking them for a movie. Okay, so those things never ever students think as OD interventions. It is a fun activity at place. Yes, it is required, but it cannot be a OD intervention. It can make the employee feel happy for a day. Okay, it can make an employee feel happy for a week at least, not more than that. If for example, if I say if we celebrate a birthday for an employee, it does not mean that he will involve in the entire change process of an organization and he will involve himself as if he has not celebrated birthday throughout his lifetime. Right from his childhood, he has sort of celebrated birthday. Yes, it gives more affection towards the organization. That's fine, but it does not mean those small initiatives. Many HR HR professionals misconceptualize that these are the initiatives will give larger engagement. Never have that in mind. As a students, you should be very clear that HR OD intervention should be a long-term process. What is that in terms of a knowledge process? What is that you are giving for an employee? What is that career growth you are giving for an employee? What is that additional capabilities you are giving for an employee, so that he learns, that he improves himself and also contributes back to the organization? That process you should be very clear. And if you are going to touch that, then it becomes a real OD intervention, not a small one-time activity of fun activity or taking them out. Or I see this in many IT companies. They do this and they think they take it entirely wrong. These small initiatives, they think this is enough for an employee. No, definitely not. Okay, so I will explain how performance management systems helps the OD process very clearly, and training and development, how it helps the employees to drive the OD initiatives, and HR other interventions, while as I spoke, how the high potential development, and there are many such programs of OD interventions which I will explain you in detail since you are an HR student. So those process, how it affect an individual, so how you are affecting an individual and how he helps to organization to grow. So that is the real HR OD for you, that which I will try to explain in the subsequent slides. Move to the next slide. Shalini Chandrasekhar is presenting, right? So move to the next slide, Shalini. See, performance management, definitely, I know you'd have read the theory, large theory. You would have read about your traditional methods, modern methods, management by objectives, how to drive, formulate a KRA, and how to fix a smart goals. All those things definitely subject you would have either learned in your HRM or your OB or some other papers, I'm sure. But I will teach you how a performance management system will be more useful and effective in developing an organization. Okay. See, how do you fix how do you anchor a performance management system? First, your goals you give for an employee, or if the KRA you fix for an employee. KRA means key results areas, right? You fix for an employee should be smart. Now, what is smart here? The smart goals means it should be measurable, it should be specific, and it should be achievable. Okay, and it should be realistic as well. Achievable means it should be realistic. For example, you are joining one company, okay, and you are the young HR recruiter. You join as a recruitment executive. I call you. See, you are a smart person. Now you should recruit 1,000 people this month. So this is your KRA. Go. Whether it is a real KRA, no. You should see whether it is really achievable. How one person can recruit 1,000 people. What is the tools available for it? So, meaning, why I say this to you is, you will be the HR. You will a normal HR and a smart HR. I will first explain what is a normal HR and a smart HR. Now, if you handle a performance management system in a company, you are the key responsible to handle a PMS process. If different functions will be there in a company, there will be a manufacturing function department, there will be a sales function, there will be a customer relation function, there will be a production function, there will be a maintenance function. All KRAs come to you, right? And you're not God to judge at seeing one whether this is a smart KRA or not. So there are over a period of time so much so many methodologies have evolved. Like you have a policy deployment is a TQM method of developing a smart KRA. You have a MBO method where your business strategies are being formulated beginning of the year. From the business strategy, for first level leaders, you formulate the KRAs. From that down the level, it calculates for the clear this thing. So as an HR person, resource person, you should ensure yourself that you have a process to align your goals for each and every individual. What you can do is, for example, if you're handling a PMS process in a company, first you should go sit with each and every functions. An organization goal can be one, but each and every function will have a different things to work. For example, an organization goal will be like this year my turnover is 1,000 crores. So next year it will be 1,500 crores. So how, as an HR, you will be deciding on the KRA? You will go sit with the departments, ensure what is that to improve that another 200 crores, what each department has to do. For example, manufacturing, they have to improve their production from X to Z. For sales, they have to improve their sales from this. For maintenance, they have to upkeep the machines to work on a correct time without any failure, so that no breakdowns happens. If HR, you have to recruit people on time, you have to manage talent, you have to pay them well, you have to train them well to make the product better, to make the process better. So all those things you will have in your head, and go sit with every function and draft the KRA with their help, and you will validate. So once you formulate a process, successful KRA, it will automatically influence an individual run towards the organization goal, which is final. Each and every individual goal. For example, one of my bosses will always say, individual efforts summation is the company's efforts. A company cannot perform without an individual performing. In each and every individual should perform, so that company will perform. So that clarity you should have, and that with that clarity you should formulate KRAs. Automatically the OD will be taken care. The organizational development will be taken care. So this is your role as an HR, to ensure the performance management system, to ensure the KRAs has been set on time. You can ask, sir, whether once the KRAs has been set, whether it is enough I can relax. No, not. Once you set the KRA, at least after 6 months, you should, a KRA normal, many companies will assess a KRA in a year. But good companies, even in Murugappa Group, we do it, once in 6 months. In 6 months, we will just check where we are. We will evaluate each and every individual KRA, and we have a process of online, PMS system. So where will employees will evaluate themselves against the fixed KRA, and they will come out with their own scoring for each and every activity. So you should evaluate and assign maybe grades based on that. For example, you can qualify them as an exceptional performer, or a significant performer, or a good performer, or a poor performer, meaning needs some improvements where he is lacking, even though there is a resource. Those things you should be able to validate. Yes, your functional aids will be saying you that, but still you should HR have a clarity of each and every processes, so that you help them in fixing a KRA properly, and you also help them the functional aids to evaluate properly, so that your end goal is achieved in terms of taking care of the company's aspiration to the next level. So that's how you should be clear in handling the performance management system, which to me helps a lot in OD interventions. If you are able to formulate a KRA properly, if you are able to fix the organizational goals, organizational development goals properly into each and every individual KRA, of the job is done. Your 50% of your head pain is removed and kept aside. So because individual will be start running, right? For him it is his work. Summation of all will be the organization work. So that process will be very clearly taken care. Okay, so that's how performance management systems helps in developing the organization development. Move on, next slide. So we have seen organizational training and development, how it helps the OD, how training and development helps. See, we have seen various process principles like TQM, TPM, Six Sigma. All those things will help process to deliver better quality. And how it will help an individual? No, you have to train. If you are able to give what is training all about? Training, maybe somewhere I read so many years back, training is the act of increasing the knowledge and skill of an employee to perform his job effectively and efficiently. So simple. You are imparting some skill to some person to perform his job effectively. To say in your language, HR language, no, if you are going to be an HR executive, what you should know? You should know recruitment. You should know, first you should know manpower planning. You should know budgeting. You should know recruitment. You should know training and development. You should know performance management system. You should know employee engagement. And you should know how to handle conflicts, whatever, your labor laws if you're an IR professional. So that is a separate ocean altogether. Okay, so you should know all those things. If you're HR professional, you should know this. If you're not, you know something about that. But whether you know in depth, if you're going to become a PMS specialist, and what you know. If you're going to be a recruitment specialist, what you know. So those things for each and every employee should be captured. The skill required to perform his job effectively should be captured very clearly, and he should be assessed. For example, you know to recruit. You are a recruitment executive. No, you know to recruit, but you don't know how to evaluate a job description. For example, a JD is a piece of paper, a written document given to you to recruit someone, right? If you are not able to validate the JD, you will not be a complete recruitment profession. So you should know how to evaluate a JD, and how to find the persons from outside, on how you are going to bring them in, and how you are able to. You should know comp and ben, how you are able to fix the salary within, creating any anomalies within the company. So all those things you will be have to be identified as the skills required to perform the job effectively, based on which you have to measure him. There are various tools available. You can measure for assessment, and you can measure either behavioral skills or capabilities required, or a technical skills or capabilities required, and then you should identify the training need, without which any training need will not be a proper training need. I see many professionals handles, they will ask an individual what training you required. They will say on X, Y, Z. Then they will go to their boss. Boss will say some X, Y. Yes, it will be correct. His boss knows what training required for the subordinate. But it's not a scientific tool. A scientific approach will be, you should assess what is the required capabilities for each and every role performed by an individual. Then assess individual where he is in that capabilities. Then give training. It will be a scientific approach. Otherwise, any approach will not be a proper approach to intervene one's knowledge management process. And you should also there are various methods to assess the effectiveness of a training model. We here follow a model called Kirkpatrick model, where your training methodology is been into 4 ways, where we knowledge, then we assess on the knowledge gained, and we see the we give some projects, and then we see what is the return on investments of training. So our behavioral knowledge gained and the returns, all those been assessed in a model. Maybe you can, when free, you can go and learn that model, which will help you to handle your training interventions for employees better in an effective way. Okay, so this is how you will help OD. I can talk this one subject for whole day itself. We have 1 hour, so that we cannot cover fully, but that's how I'm touching the basics, so that you will have a holistic understandings on each process, how it touches the OD. So training, yes, fundamental development for a human being. You have to be very clear and focused what you will train, how you will train, and how it will become benefit back to the organization. It should be clear. Okay, so move to the next slide. See, as I said there, skill, a year competency development plan. For example, you can be what is skill and what is competency is once again a subject to teach. See, competencies is a large this thing. For example, you can do competency mapping for your white collar workers. Skill is a little, for example, a mission operator. It can be a skill. For a person with white collar jobs, it can be a competency mapping. So you should bifurcate it, like whom do you do competency assessment, and who do the skill assessment, and then capture the training need and proceed. And there are various methods. Needless to explain all these types of development interventions. You all would have read in the textbooks of this on-the-job training, classroom, and all those the fundamentals. I don't want to go in that, but to me, on-the-job training is more effective than a classroom training. Is what we have seen always. And project-based training, giving, taking a training program, giving some projects to perform better or improve from X to Y, whatever it is, from A to 1 to 10. So those kinds of interventions will help. What happens otherwise? You will go a training program. You will, for example, one attends a training program in low-cost automation. So he goes to the training program. We send him to a 3 days training program. You go to the training programs. You would have attended the low-cost automation training program, and immediately what he will do is he will put in his resume that he has done a low-cost automation program. What is there in for the company? You should come back. You should come back and you should see the process and where automation is required, where he can help the manpower. You can help to reduce the manpower or help to reduce the cost with this whatever he learned. So that's how you should intervene the training he received, win the OD, and make him do some projects for the organizational development. And that's how the organization will benefit back from the training he has attended. So always ensure when you are sending someone for training program as an HR professional, you should be very clear what is it that it back for the company. Yes, back for the individual, definitely he will gain. He will gain as in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill acquired, in terms of new concepts you would have learned. But what is back to the company, you should be very clear and bring benefit. The learned benefit has to be applied in the shop floor or applied in the process or applied in the job. That area you should be very clear, so that through training and development, you also touch your organizational development in a very straight way. So this is how training and development also becomes very, very important subject for your OD interventions and OD improvements. Move to the next slide. Now we will move on to the interesting and specific projects. What is that you do? You heard about this word called career pathing, hypots development, critical positions and succession planning, how it is correlated with OD, how it helps organizational for development, those things is what we will see with under OD interventions. See, definitely these projects will not be given for a maybe definitely if it's very knowledgeable guy, even it will be given for a fresher, but normally these projects will be given for some experienced guys to handle, because it is very important projects, because you are, other than your performance management system, other than your training and development, these are the structured programs which ensures the individual learning curve improves, individual competencies improves, individual leadership qualities improves, and thereby he ensures the organizational development aspiration plans. I will take one example and explain. You have a program called high potential development, right? Example, you are joining a company and you are developing a program for high potential developments. First of all, you should do an exercise. What is the company? Who are the employees? And who are the best employees you have? Now, best employees, there are different kinds of best employees. One will be regular to the work. One will be very hardworking. One will be very smart. So you should be very clear what is the tool, what is that parameters you will assess an high potential employee. For example, you would have seen the performance management system. If you see an employee continuously scores well, if he is able to deliver continuously better to the organization, for example, he gets last 5 years continuously A rating. You do not get A rating just because of that, right? Maybe in a sample of 100, 1 or 2 cases can be biased, but the entire cases will not be that. So that process you would have achieved better to score continuously for this thing. And what to say? Those potential employees, you should bring them back. You should ask. You should elevate them faster. You should identify them first. How will you identify? You should have a tool. You should define what is high potential, identify them, and then you give up specific projects, specific individual development plans for them to perform better and then to grow. So those interventions will definitely help your OD. For example, you have to retain the employees. How you will retain? No, you should have a career path. No, if your attrition rate is very high, definitely it will not going to help your organization to develop. Or it will not develop. It will not help your organization to perform better. So you should give a clear focus to an employee today what he is and where he will retire, or today what he is, where will we be in 10 years. You join as an executive HR. Now you should be given a career path. You will be training for 2 years. After training, if you do this key areas, you will be confirmed as assistant manager. You will go in 10 years to this place. If you have that clarity, if you give that clarity to each and every individual who joins your company or you work for your company, then I don't see any employee will leave. Yes, monetary benefits also matters, but all the time it does not. You should give whatever you pay them. But if you're not going to give a career for them, definitely you will try to move on this ladder, up the ladder, and you will try to change the job. So to facilitate your OD interventions, this iPod development and career pathing will go hand in hand. If you have an high potential identified, and you should have a career for them, and you should process it very well to ensure individual growth. And if individual grows, the organization will always grow, right? If he, for example, if he's going to perform better, if he has performed better for last few months, and if he is going to get a career, definitely he will try to again strive better, and he will also grow up, and the organization will also grow up. And if these projects will also make the others perform, right? See, there are many studies says there are 3 types of employees. Like we have an employee who will strive for the organizational goals. There are employees who do business as usual, right? They come, they work, and they leave. there are some employees who are non-contributing. Maybe they are not fully involved in the business or fully involved in their work. There are these three types of employees. So if you are going to identify this one set of high-performing employees and you are going to give a career for them, it automatically propels or induces other employees to fall back and work for the organizational goals and organizational achievements. This is how you should develop your iPod development programs and career pathing programs to make the people understand their future goals, to make the people understand the organizational goals, to make them learn something and give some aspirations for them to develop, and so that their individual goals and as well as the organization goals has been going hand in hand, so that your overall OD objective is achieved. That's how an HR interventions should be very clearly articulated and driven. That's why in the beginning I very clearly said we HR executives many times wrongly think that small fun activities, fun at place is the great motivation for employees, and they feel very happy. Normally they hate. I see many my colleagues sharing this fun at place they call, and they go and literally harass employees of making them sing, making them dance. So all those things, maybe one of times, 2 times it will be very fun. Other times, they will see HR guys as if these guys have come to what bore us or irritate us. That is the feeling an employee will get. So meaning why I'm again saying this or reinstating this is, as an HR professional, you should be very clear how you are going to touch an individual for his better, in terms of his motivation, in terms of his involvement, in terms of his better productivity, and how you are going to fuel that with this OD interventions in terms of either it can be a performance management system, either it can be a training and development, either it can be an high potential or career, whatever tools you have to motivate them. So which will help an organization in benefiting in a long-term association. It will benefit in long-term, knowledge capturing or knowledge management system. That's how it will benefit. For example, to make all students very simply understand this concept. For example, a company is having 100 people. You have identified 25 people as high potential, and you are also sorry. Go to the next slide. This is what the process, high potential. Okay. See, if you are having 100 people, okay, you identify the 100 people, and you facilitate them, and you do some assessment. Metal is the tool we use for the analytical skills and the behavioral skills, and then we assess them where they are, and then you discuss and share the data to them, and you develop them, okay, for a period of time, and you use this process. You have approach stage, we have a development stage, and we have a result stage. Result stage is where we give them some project. We have done some interventions, we have done some individual development plans, we would have given some projects, and they would have done it and successfully completed it, and they have given back the results to the company. Now think of a situation, you have 100 people, and you are going to give identify them 20 people as iPods and make them groom for the leadership positions. Suddenly company is planning to expand its business, come up with a new plant where you require a lot of functional heads, you require a lot of leaders. You don't want to search in the market outside. You will have within this process of development process, this intervention would have helped the organization to have the talent inside, rather bringing from outside. So that's how you touch the organization development. When the go back to the first slides, you think that slide, when the organization is either growing by acquiring some company, or it grows organically. When you have suddenly a company wants to grow, and you have this many talent available, you are giving opportunities. You are giving opportunities to leaders within. So if you are going to practice this as a methodology, and you are going to ready for the future, and you will be the best HR available in the company, right? You will be the best resource to have in the company. If you are able to handle this OD intervention, you will be the best appreciated and accepted person within the organization. So think that these kind of processes, in-depth understanding. Yes, today we don't have a time. Now each and every subject I can teach you half day or one full day as well. One iPod development process, right from how do you find high potentials, how do you assess them, how do you teach them, how do you build their competencies, how do you categorize them, how do you give projects and what projects you give. All those things can be dealt very detailedly, and I do understand we have very less time, and I'm touching upon the macro aspects of it. So this is how the both iPod and come down. You will also see the career. Change the slide, Shalini. So career path is once again both high potential and career path will go hand in hand. For career path, yes, an individual has to should aspiration. Once assessed, we have to assess whether their competencies are readily there now to help their future goals, and then what is that they can achieve. Okay, so that is what these both things can go on. I'll definitely share. You can go through this literature, and so you can understand it better. Go back to the go to the next slide. We are running out of time. And critical positions and identification process is also a very, very important OD interventions you should have in mind, because first you should know what is critical position in the organization. Sir, you can say, sir, watchman is also very critical. Tomorrow if he goes, someone will come and stole everything and leave. No, you cannot assess positions roles like this. See, critical positions or those positions will not be easily replaceable. Right, you cannot find them available ready in the market for your needs. So those are the positions or the critical positions. For example, engineering positions, conceptualized positions like design positions, right? Even HR functions in some cases. The specialized positions, which cannot be easily replaced positions, are called critical positions. Those positions has to be identified properly, and there should be a succession for those positions. For example, that employees leaves. No, the company should not suffer because it's a critical position. It can be affecting the business of the company. So your intervention should be in such that your critical positions has been identified very clearly. You have a succession for that. You train them properly. Even if he leaves, this person is ready to available to take that. Okay, but it cannot be like he is your boss and he is your subordinate. You should take that this thing and no, not at all. You should have a structured approach. You should identify his successor, and you should once again, as I said before, you should see what is capabilities, what is the capabilities required for the future role. He is going to take care of his boss role, right? Those competencies will be very high than the existing competency required for the performing current job. So those future competencies should be assessed very clearly, and intervention or training or projects or coaching, mentoring. We have so many methods for each and for these steps. Those tools can be used for developing an individual from a position which is currently handling to the position he is going to handle. So those interventions you should very clearly know. This process you should very clearly know, so that tomorrow if you hold a higher responsibility and you are responsible for succession planning in an organization, you should know how to go about as an approach and ensure this critical roles has been identified and made ready in case of any exits happen in the critical roles, and without the organization getting affected, you implement these interventions. So come down. So with this, I think maybe in a given hour time, I've tried to do my justice, and this subject will take maybe 6 months. That's why it has been kept in your last semester almost. OD as a subject requires a lot of detailing and lot of tools and lot of interventions available to take it to the one level to the other level. So at broad, I would to summarize today. We saw the what is the strategic OD and what is the process OD and what is OD for HR. So I kept it very simple to make you understand, and make you to understand what organizational development is all about, how you enter when you enter into HR, and how you use this as a tool to perform, make the employees perform better from what they are doing it today, to ensure the change management, to ensure the organizational goals are achieved in a long-term process. So that's how I have tried to keep it simple and make you understand on the entire OD process as such. So thank you so much. With this, my session ends, and we will have some time for Q&A and any doubts, and you can also give feedback, whether this session would have benefited you and how useful. Maybe you can write back to me. Maybe you can get my number from the coordinator, and you can just this thing. Any doubts, anytime you can reach me as a person. Definitely, if I'm free, definitely I will be in getting in touch with you, or whenever I get time, I will also write back, to your queries. Thank you so much. Maybe QA, if any questions you have, you can.
Okay, thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself. You can ask the questions, or else you can post your questions in the chat box.
Sir.
Yeah, Praveen.
Sir, can we get an on-the-job training in your company for organizational behavior if possible?
Hey,
Sir.
OB, you cannot get an a training for OB, man. It is what is OB? I still remember your famous Stephen Robbins definition. OB is a field of study which investigate the impact of individual who have on behavior within the organization. Meaning what? Is behavior within the organization, it's a psychological subject. You cannot on the job not train you on that. It is an experiential learning, right? It's a psychology. So you cannot give a training on the job for that. Yes, you can get that experience over a period of time. OB is, as I said rightly in the beginning, your OB, OD, and legal papers cannot, you can read the subject theoretically, as I said, definition you can say, but experiencing that, it will take time. Either your motivation interventions, in learning interventions in your OB, or your psychological, all these theories you read, right? And your change, interventions or attitude, changing the attitude. This is what you read in OB, right? So what? Those things will take time, man. It cannot be in on-the-job training. You're HR professional, no? Once you join the job after 4 or 5 years experience, definitely you will gain all those knowledge, and you will feel one day, the papers we read, the real papers which helping us is your OB paper for doing your job as an HR person, in a company. Hope I answered your question. So it will be an experiential learning than an on-the-job training.
Sir, and the next thing is, with the manpower, I say, when we are going in industry, it will be automated machines. So it will produce 100 jobs. So how can we evaluate a manpower when it is an automated machine? Because everyone is going to stand and move something like. So I'm asking in that manner.
See, there is, I think one thing, Praveen, in life always, there will be a perfectionism will not be arrived at any point in time. Okay, even it is an automated machine, or even it is a manual machine, there will be always go for improvement, right? In terms of if it is an automated machine, the person who writes the program, you call PLC, whatever, pneumatics, language writing, whatever it is, those people will think of it, and they will think how to improve the automated machine's productivity. They will think how to make the process better, how they make the quality better of the product. So those codes will only help whatever the man is performing, the machine will perform. They will ensure that. Okay, so that intervention will always continue. Either it will be mechanical or automated. Thanks, Praveen.
Hello, sir. This is Vaishnav here. I have a query.
Yeah.
With respect to, so I recently took up a project on creating a development plan for a set of HR employees who are going to join. So can you give me a subtle can you explain the difference between the individual and collective development plan goals which we create from a training perspective with that of the training and goal plans which you need to create with respect to performance management?
Excellent question. See, as a student, you should understand what is the organizational development plan and what is the individual development plan, right? A very good question. And see, for example, organizational development plan. If you go back to the process development plans which I showed, each and every one of the employees in the organization should know 100%, right? They should know how a TPS methodology has been or a TQM methodology is adopted. Likewise, they should know how it has been practiced. Everyone should know. When everyone should know a common subject, it becomes a group learning initiative. It becomes a group development. When it becomes an individual development, for example, in the same lean manufacturing or TPS or TQM, there will be parameters different for learning techniques, different for a sales guy and an engineering guy. Then it will be differing. A sales guy will not go in depth of how to draw a component. He should know how to sell a component. Now, how to draw, this guy should teach. So when you are designing this, you should know what should be taught for a common for employees and what should be taught for individual to make his job better and simpler, or make his job better. That clarity, that bifurcation, if you are able to give, then you can able to easily design any developmental program for employees. Understood?
Okay. Sir, with an extension to that, when I was this is just my experience.
No issues, see, all questions cannot be 100% correct, and no problem. You can just ask your question.
Yeah, so this from my experience, I was trying to. So there was two things going on. I was asked to. I was interning with a startup, so they wanted these two to be done. They were trying to come up with a good performance evaluation system, the PMS system, and they were also trying to come up with a development plan, the holistic plan. So with my research, I was trying to create with respect to individual and a group based development plan. But my idea was also to make it so the template which I was forming with respect to individual, that will also vary. If the person is coming inside the organization, I'll have to consult with the specific person what he or she is requiring or has an idea for creating what they expect as a scope of their career development in the company. Also, I was trying to get their perspective, like with that process. Is that something? Do you think I was in the correct line?
Yeah, you are in very correct line. See, fundamentally, you have, as I said, you have a capability, competency mapping or a skill mapping, and then you assess an employee. But you should also talk to individual employees where they are and what they feel. We call it as, self-assessment. In the assessment, once the competencies are framed and you put someone for assessment, you call them as a self-assessment, an IO of assessment, and RO assessment. Technically, we call like this. IO means the initiating officer, the immediate reporting boss, and RO means the overall, head of the function. So they, the first the self thought process about its own capabilities should be captured. Then it should be cross-checked. There are many cases it will be very different, or there are some cases the alignment between self and IO and RO will be unique. So it will all happen. But your force group discussions after talking to each and every individual, if there is a broad difference between an self understanding about his competencies and his boss understanding about his competencies, if there is a broad difference, then you should call for a discussion, and then you should sort out who is correct and who is wrong. So that's how you should. Your approach is fundamentally correct.
Okay. Sir, now one more question, just one last question.
No problem.
Here, with respect to skill mapping and competency mapping, is there a subtle difference between that? If it is skill mapping a first level and competency mapping a higher level of that, I want to know just that.
It's all English, but technically, if you see, if you ask me, I will say there is a difference, because many companies follow skill matrix for the blue-collar workers, right? And skill will be performing a unique job. That is called as a skill. Competencies will be always many. So what you always have in mind, maybe I may be wrong, theoretically it will not but many companies only follow competency mapping for the white collar workers and skill mapping for the blue collar workers. That's how traditionally it has been done, and it is quite effective model to follow as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. No, the thing is, I am having my research topic right now on competency mapping. So this is something I have been pondering upon. So hence the question.
So
Okay, thank you
competency
so much, sir.
mapping, you should, if
Yeah.
it is, you should find out dictionaries, you should write what competencies, and then you should assess,
Mm,
and then you
mm,
should think of the assessment tools, and then you should
mm,
develop, identify the, you have that proficiency levels, right? We call as
mm,
RPL, CPL, RPL meaning required proficiency level and the current proficiency level, and then you identify the gap, and then you give the development interventions. So
mm, mm.
follow that.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Good evening, sir. I would like to ask one question.
Please.
Like, if someone wants to get into organizational development, does that person needs to learn all this process of OD like TQ and TPM and TEI?
See, that's what I said. It is a process development. You should aware of. Because when you go into any, not only in today, service industries have started following this Japanese techniques and US techniques. So you should be aware of it, which will always help better. But as an HR professional, definitely after joining a company, when I completed my MBA and joined the company, we did not have any understanding on this techniques. But over a period of time, the good companies will ensure their employees will be aware of this concepts and techniques for OD. But it is that good that if you are aware of these techniques, definitely it will add on your profile and understanding, and your employee interventions will be far better than a normal handling. You will have a method, structured method to approach anything. That's how it will help you. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Any question? Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question for you. Sir,
Yeah, please.
according to you, which is the most important element in the OD?
I am not able to follow. According to me,
Which is the most important element in the OD?
most important element in human resource, is it?
Yeah, in human resources in OD.
Interesting question. I know I don't have answer for it. In how you're asking this question, in terms of subject you're asking, or in terms of psychology, in approaching an HR function you're asking?
In terms of subject.
See, in terms of subject, I already said, what is that you have to learn. And okay, I'll answer your question in two ways. In terms of subject, you should be very clear in your OB, your legal, your OD papers, almost, that papers are legal and all. Definitely a good HR professional, or a good, for example, a day comes when you become a general manager or HR or director HR of a company, you should be thorough in both your HR and IR. Then that's how you become. Either you are specialized in HR, you will never become a head of some good company, or if you're an IR person alone, you will not become. So you should have a gamut of exposure of both HR and IR. That's how you become the master in HR, and you have in terms of OD also. Now many companies, OD in terms of L&D, they have a separate wing. Now they don't club with HR or IR. So those three areas where if you become strong, and that's how you can this thing. And if you come to, as a practitioner, if you ask me, you should be a person who is available for the management for a change, or to implement a change process. You should be a person where employees will come to you for any help. If you are human, if you are able to talk on behalf of the employees to the management, if you are able to play that link pin role in your principles of management, they call this link pin role. The person, the HR manager, should be both what is required from the management, you should be able to communicate and get from the employee, and what is required by the employee, you should be able to communicate to management and get back to him. So that link pin role, if you are able to play correctly and successfully, then you will become a successful manager. Either one side, if you go, then you cannot be a successful professional in HR. That's how I can answer your question in terms of subject and in terms of practicing HR.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you, sir.
Hi sir, this is Iresh here.
Yeah, it is.
So I
Chaudhary,
have
tell
a
me.
doubt. What is the methodology of identifying a competency, and what would be the process of writing the dictionary?
I will try to answer it very simply, Chaudhary, because it's a big subject. Competency mapping. First of all, you should sit with a functional head to arrive at a list of key competencies in this department. For example, you have a HR function. If you're going to arrive at a competency mapping for an HR department, you should sit. First, you should find the key competencies. For example, in your talent recruitment, what is that key mapping? That is a competency. Recruitment is a competency. Under competency, then you have to do mapping of subset of that competencies, like dictionaries, like what is sourcing, what is a selection. In sourcing, what you should know. For example, in sourcing, you should know to read a JD. You should know to evaluate a JD. You should know to design a comp and ben. You should know to interview a candidate. You should know to select a candidate. You should know to bring him. You should know to handle the induction process. Like which, for every competencies, there will be sub-competencies. Competencies and sub-competencies and process capturing will form as a dictionary. So this is how you have to identify the competencies and identify the, formulate the dictionaries. And based on dictionaries, you will assess what competencies are critical, and then you will do an assessment, and then you develop. That is how you should keep it very simple.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Sir, with respect to what you said here, Vaishnavi here again.
Yeah, Vaishnav.
You said subsets and then competencies. I'm not understanding. It's like if sourcing is something you're taking, and within that you have sub
Yes,
points.
for example, Vaishnavi, if you want to building a sourcing competency for a person, if you say sourcing competency, you should know what all things fall under sourcing, right? You should know price negotiation. You should know material selection. You should know how to find a vendor. You should know how to select a vendor selection process, how to appoint a vendor for a company. Then only you can buy from him, right? Sourcing, whatever example you took. So those competencies should be fall as a subset of the sourcing competency. Then he has to be assessed with the required proficiency and the current proficiencies, and then you have to improve. So that's how it comes.
So a small point itself becomes a requirement and a full competency itself, a full component of it.
Correct. Maybe you can you can send me, I will send you a competency dictionary framework, how it is there. You can just go through that. Maybe I will share to your coordinator and she will share to you, and you can go through that. If any doubts, you can write back to me.
Okay, sir.
Anyone else, or we will close?
Last thing.
Yeah, Praveen.
So we cannot have a separate industrial relation and human relation person. So I'm asking, like, when we try to understand the industrial relation, human relation, then why they are giving more importance to communication skills? I'm asking especially about English. What is the communication skill going to do? Impact the persons?
Maybe someone can, because there was some background noise if the question was not clear.
HR and IR, both the things we are trying to understand and we try to expertise ourselves. Then why they are giving more stress to that communication skills?
You are talking about why in a selection process we do very importance to communication skills, right?
Yeah, sir.
See, for example, if you're going to handle an HR, and if you're going to handle 3,000 people, if you're not strong in your communication, and English is different and communication is different, right? If you're not strong in what you're going to communicate to people, now English becomes, since it is an official language in India, and we somehow we have unity in diversity. We have so many states and so many languages. We have one common language to communicate to other states, and this diversity makes compulsory to practice one language. That's how historically, English has become the main course, source of. Yes, I do understand the pain of many students. It is a foreign language and it is not our language, and why should we be proficient in that? And it is stopping our thought process, where what is thought in mind we are not able to communicate in mouth, and how we can this thing. All fine, but what to do? But we born in a country like India, and where we have diversity, diverse languages, and we have one language to communicate with all. So it becomes necessary, and it's given importance as well. Yeah, it's a foreign language. I do accept that. I know exactly where you are coming from and what is your pain, because whenever we go for campus and we see students and they communicate, they find it difficult to communicate what they think in the mind, and they're not able to say in mouth, and it becomes a barrier for them because of English, and nothing we can do about it unless try to educate in the language. We have no other go. So we cannot talk philosophies like I will only be talking Tamil, or I will be talking in my mother tongue and I will only perform like this. No, we have to be diverse, and we are in diverse in a diverse country like us, and we have to be very clear and focused on developing yourself in this. Take this session today. If I'm not talking in English and I'm talking in Tamil, and many people are there who don't understand Tamil, what happens? They will speak like in this thing. So there is one common language required, and that's why this importance is given.
Yes, thank you.
Praveen?
Yes.
Sir, there's a question in the chat box, sir. Dhanush asked the question. The question is, so you told that some IT companies follows fun activities and birthday celebrations is not enough to improve their.
No, I'm not said this as a complaint. I said as a suggestion. We should not think that if you do some, for example, if a birthday function for an employee, and we say we cut a cake in front of 100 or 500 people, and definitely you'll be feeling happy and you will be pleased. It does not mean that he will stick back to the company. It does not mean that he is get motivated. It does not mean that his aspirations has been fulfilled. That clarity in HR should have. A fun activity is different and an engagement is different. Engagement is something big. So fun activity never can become an engagement. That's what I said. Being a student, you should be clear what is fun activities and what is an engagement process. We see many fun activities has been talked as if it is an engagement process. That clarity as a student you should have. And what we spoke in our presentation, those kind of interventions only will help you to touch an employee in long run. Okay, that clarity you should have, Dhanush Kumar, while you practice as an HR. That's why I said that.
I think there's no more questions, sir. Yes, we have one more question.
Sir, how often an average, sir, how often an average a company should give promotion or hike for an employee? Oh, who's that? Prasad. Before joining your PG, you worked somewhere? Prasad?
Yes, sir.
Before joining your PG, you worked for somewhere?
No, sir. I am undergraduate, BCom first year.
Oh, BCom first year. But your question is very like a postgraduate, man. Very good. Okay, see, there is no specific. For example, if we have seen about high potential development, right? If a guy is very high potential, and we are giving him promotion once in 2 years means, and you're also having a guy who is performing, and as per policy, if you have some companies have a policy of promoting once in 3 years or 4 years, if you give like that, it will not be correct. There should be a fast track promotion policy. There should be a normal promotion policy. Example, those schemes should ensure that, for example, the fast track should ensure it is being given appropriately and faster pace to the employees who are contributing in a faster phase for the organization. But for the business as usual performers, those should be in a longer this thing. You cannot have it both the same. But there is no policy in any company in what time it should be given for one's promotion. If you perform better, if you're able to meet the organization goals continuously, definitely you are also ready to handle the higher role. If you ask me this question very straight, if you are able to handle some additional responsibility or take up the higher responsibility, then only one should look for the promotion. Otherwise, you should not look at. Now, why should we give promotion for one handling the same job for longer period of time? Right? Promotion is what? For handling the higher role. You should also grow and you should also take higher responsibility. That is the answer for your question. Hike, it's a big subject. Hike for performance, hike for standard of living, hike for maybe inflation. That is a big subject altogether. So you should differentiate. You cannot maybe separate. This thing will be required to explain these terms of how to in terms of monetary benefits, how to fix compensation, in terms of taking care of inflation, taking care of the customer living, price index. All those things are there. A big subject to learn. Just go and Google. It's a big subject as well. So there is hike should be for the. It should be different for the high performers. It should be for the this thing. Once again, it should be different. It cannot be all equal. Given one common increment, it will not help OD. Thanks, Prashant.
So there's one last
anyway,
question.
Very good question.
There's one last question in the chat box, sir, from Vedika.
Yeah.
Question is, sir, how to balance generational expectation through interventions in corporate culture, sir?
No, once again, sir, how to balance generational expectation through interventions in corporate culture? Oh, good question. See, you are talking about the gender diversity, right? You have the gender diversity. You have the age, diversity, and you have the experience diversity. There are so many cultural diversities, and you should have programs for that. You should only study what diversity that company has. For example, it is diversified age group. For example, 50 per group, 50, more than 50 years, there are more people, and 20 years. How do you link both of them? That is all a big exercise where you should be able to, maybe you can design at a knowledge transfer programs from the seniors to the juniors, and you can experiential learning, from seniors to juniors. Those kind of programs will help you to make the, this diversity, work better for you. That's how you should, design the interventions. And one more question is also there, Prasad. Sir, in my mom's company, HR is saying having a job itself is great. One during Corona time,
Sir.
don't expect hike or promotion.
Sir.
Not only your mom's company, many companies are saying like that. See, it is also necessary. You should, your employees should understand, or you should make the employees understand. In Corona time, the company is not doing good, right? The company is not earning any revenues. Many companies are below break even. You understand. I know you are postgraduate students. You know what's the break even. The many companies are below break even, and if they are making losses, and you cannot at this time expect a promotion or a hike. No, you should wait to business to perform better, to business to reach the more than break even, and business to afford this additional cost. So hike is not something simple. No, hike is something additional cost. No, hike is something the company will have spend more money. Your fixed cost will go up. Your cost percentage to sales will go up. So company should be able to afford. So you should make the employees understand very clear that whether it is correct to wait or not wait, or this thing. And the Corona time, any company is not doing good. So it's better really, what the company is saying may be right also. Giving a job and salary itself is a big, without any inflow of cash. So that itself is a big thing, and we should encourage. We see globally more than so many millions of jobs have been lost because of Corona. And if you are able to have a job, if your mom is able to have a job, that is a great thing. Yeah, I see. Many people lost their job during Corona time without any salaries. Many companies are not able to pay their salaries, the employees their salaries, because there is no funds flowing inside, right? So you should wait for employees to companies to perform better, and then you should move on. Then even then the company is not able to give back or take care, and then you have to move on. No, right? You cannot blame company if you're not able to satisfy. If the company is not able to satisfy you, you should move on. Then this thing. That's my answer. But just I will take this call. Sir,
okay, sir, no problem.
இதோ முடிஞ்சிடும் இன்னொரு half an hourல. Sorry, it was my friend waiting for me.
It's okay, no problem, sir. So I think you answered all the questions, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I request Kausalya to render the vote of thanks.
If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. I, Kausalya of first year MA HRM, take this wonderful opportunity to thank our esteemed speaker, Mr. M. Kailasagiri, Assistant General Manager HR, Tube Investments of India, Murugappa Groups, for sharing his valuable insights and knowledge on the topic organizational development. I'd like to share a few key takeaways from today's session. From today's session, we got to know what OD really is. The three types of OD intervention, that is, strategy for business growth, process OD, and HR OD. The three types of human resource management intervention, performance management system, training and development, human resource OD intervention. We also got to know the importance of KRE, key responsibility area in OD. We, the future HRs, will really work on the understanding provided by our lively speaker. Sharing is caring is an age-old proverb. True to this thought, I'd like to thank our PG Department of HRM Spiller, our HOD, Dr. Ensign Martin, for arranging this webinar, and our professor, Ms. Subatini, for her support to organize this webinar, providing us with an enlightened tool to the pragmatic arena of HR. Finally, I extend my gratitude to participants from various professions and students. Kindly fill up the feedback form which is provided in the chat box with your name and email ID. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Kausalya and students and Professor Martin. And it was a pleasure interacting with you all. The questions were very sharp and a great time in the evening. And thanks, Vaishnavi, for special thanks to Vaishnavi who coordinated this with me, and students who spoke to me on advising me how to take this program today's evening. And I had a wonderful time, and because whenever I come to DG or even last week I handled MSW on session, so the questions will be sharp, and keep that your engagement levels of the students. If I see 83 or 84 while completing the session, it will be that, and keep that spirit of learning. And thank you so much. So I think that I have touched somewhere. I have thought of something what I know. But sorry for the less of the time, we could not go in depth of concepts. In future, definitely, whenever the time permits, we will do that. Thank you so much. Thank you all. And it's been a great time and absolute pleasure for myself to handling this session. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So thanks says that I'm so happy because they are happy. That's why they are saying thanks. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, sir.